Pre-show shenanigans. We are live, both in LA. Second time recording this. First time, audio didn't quite go to plan. Had to
Grant
redo it.
blamed me, but in fact, it was Grant's microphone that was the problem.
It was, but if we count up the amount of time we spent fixing your mic compared to mine, unfair. If we allocated at least 30% of the time we spent fixing your mic to mine, that would have been perfect.
Okay, that's fair, but at the same time, your mic did crap itself.
Yeah, and I personally have a lot of questions exactly how that worked. But you know what? We're here, and you know what? Last episode wasn't even that good anyway, so it's probably better off we're recording. So this is the pre-show. Last time we were debating about dog names. That one sucked. Okay, so better pre-show this time. How much money? Well, actually, oh, even better. We didn't talk about this. We have to talk about the plane where the door blew off the door.
Which, by the way, I will be flying on
Or
that
that wasn't that
aircraft.
wasn't that wait. Correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't the door. It was just a
A
piece of
part
the
of the
plane
plane.
that felt
Yeah, no.
worse.
But by the way, United said that they're like grounding all those planes. No, I'm flying on that plane. I will be flying on that plane tomorrow when this is
Oh,
uploaded.
so they may have been joking a little bit about that.
Little
My
bit.
so I heard that the window seat and the middle seat in that exact same row. So like those seats, those three seats right next there, window and middle unfilled. Nobody had those seats. So
They missed their flight.
yeah. So to a degree, maybe United was aware, like, hey, there's no one sitting there. We don't need to check this part of the plane. Like if it flies off or whatever.
Well, I think it's just a random part of the
No, I
plane. Like
know
it could have been.
it's coincidence. No, I know, but like I did find that very coincidental. I thought that that may have been an example of some voodoo magic witchcraft going on. But my other thought was, if you were on that plane, do we know how high in the air? Well, like, do we know
They
how
were
deep
above ten
into the
thousand
flight?
feet.
Like,
But it
were
was
they
like it
even?
wasn't. No, they were like this was kind of post take. I think it was just after they got up all the way because they were like able to turn right back around to Portland, I think, and then they
Yeah,
uh
I'd hope so.
yeah. So actually, you know what? Talking about the no fly list that's been developed on the Waterboy podcast. We've got Shrimp Scampi guy. We've got all these other people we
Well, how
talked
would we
about.
classify this in the no-fly list? This is more
That's the
so an
plane that they're
airline.
taking. That's the
Okay,
plane that they're taking.
okay.
I would also like to add the
Well, at
child
least it
that
would
was
get rid of the
behind
shrimp
me.
scampi scent.
Yeah, that it's free air conditioning.
Yeah.
Um,
So there's
I
one
would like to
positive.
add
It
the
might clean
child.
up the kids' spillage. All of that might just fly out. So this
Well,
actually might be a benefit to this experience.
I would like to add the child that was behind me on my flight here. The one that was sticking his head in the crevice in my row. He was behind me and he stuck his head literally. You got the slit in between you and the seat
Yeah,
next
of
to you.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this kid stuck his head in between that slit for
Like where the armrest can go.
for
Yes.
like 60% of the flight. His face was just
Nice.
there. Then he finally went back. He was kicking my seat, banging on the windows, screaming, yelling, babbling.
How old?
It's like 7, 6.
I feel like that's a little old to
Maybe
be
he was like
doing that
5.
shit.
Maybe he's more
But
like
no.
5.
I'm
But
I'm on your
either
side
way,
here. I'm saying this kid's a
the
piece
the
of shit.
mom the mom was just sitting there. I'm like,
Did not care. I bet
how
she didn't
how
even.
this is my problem with this current
Millennial parents.
generation
Yes. Get it
is
out. Get it out.
is
Get
I
it out.
swear if you do not give them like these kids have been raised to only use like iPad kids. They've only been raised to use technology, and if you do not give them the technology, they just become wild rabid animals. And
So
it is
this is my next theory. Take it a slight step further with the technology iPad kids. All of these kids are growing up glued to their iPads. Okay. And I'm not just talking like if you want to have fun, I'm not talking just like playing like Minecraft on there, like watching Netflix. Like if you are doing like homework or school stuff, it's also just on an iPad or like everything's digital now.
everything. Yeah.
Now, step further. now we slightly reflect to us when we were kids, technology was coming out. That was the era of 3G cell service. Now, I'm not sure if you remember because I didn't even have a phone during the time. This is me
I did
using my
not.
mom's phone. But if you were to look something up, like using, I mean, I can't really
Take
think
a
of an
pretty
example of me
long
using
time.
Safari on my mom's phone. It'd just be a game. But like, I don't know,
Brick
you're
Breaker.
loading up uh let's just pretend Angry Birds is an online game. You're loading it up, and that shit would probably take you around 4 to 5 minutes to just even start that. That was a standard. That was a given. You
Yeah,
you
no, if you
knew
weren't
it
on
would take that long.
Wi-Fi, like you would be like, well, this is gonna take forever. Now, sometimes you would rather be on 5G than on Wi-Fi.
Well, yeah. So the bigger point is right now, walking around with your phone just on 5G, that is faster than when you were on Ethernet booted into your internet like 10 years ago. So the speed of the internet, the processing speed, download, upload speed has increased at a rapid rate just over the past 10 years. So I don't want to know how fast the internet will be in 10 years. In 20 years, it'll literally be instant. So, with that, okay, this generation of kids, if there ever comes a day when they're 40 years old, 30 years old, like they're in the workplace and the internet goes out, they will be physically
Well,
incapable
I
of doing
think
anything,
e-
of
even for
anything.
even for us, I mean, to be fair, I think if the internet went out in general right now, like an EMP hit us, like we would all be incapable of doing stuff. Like even for us, like communicating on a basic level, like obviously if you're face to face, that's one thing. But if like you're across the country from somebody, game over. I don't have a carrier pigeon to send to you this time. Like it's not
Yes.
happening.
I'm just,
Hedwig from Harry Potter is not bailing you out this time. So
although it would be cool if
it
he
would be
did.
pretty sick if you just had an owl come in and drop you like
It's a
a
messenger
letter.
owl. I don't know
um
how Hedwig finds those
honestly,
fucking letters,
honestly,
but he does.
let's
He
ditch
brings them.
email. Let's ditch email. Bring back messenger owls. Bring them back.
I
But
okay. Okay. You know what? Nah,
but
nah, I was gonna side tangent us bad. Keep going.
well, we got the time. But
I don't think it's a
uh,
very interesting side tangent. I was gonna say, what is the best animal to send messages to? What is the
it's a
best
bird.
vehicle? Well, what
It's
type
a
of bird?
bird.
We have options. We can go eagle, we can go falcon, we can go raven, we can go crow, we can go a phoenix, a dragon. Fuck, I don't know. You said
Whichever
bird.
one has the longest distance, that's
I'd go
fair,
with a
like a duck.
pterodactyl.
um, but I mean, the only thing that I want to just say is one, I'm scared about what these kids right now who are growing up being like essentially taught this way, how they're gonna grow their kids, how they're gonna teach their kids to do stuff. Because for me, I know whenever I have kids, first thing I'm gonna, you are not allowed to have like you're gonna have a time without tech and like on planes and stuff. Like when I was growing up, my family, we played like card games and stuff on planes. Like they didn't have the TVs that they have now built in.
What
Like you
I'm
had to
about to
bring a
say might
you
be
had to
gut
bring a
wrenching and painful, but
you had to bring a
when
portable. You had
when
to bring
I
one
was
of
a
those
kid,
portable DVDs.
I had if I wanted entertainment, I had to read a book.
But like that's what we did. We played card games. We read a book.
Trust
Like,
me, I would never do that now, but that's what it was
but
at the
like
time.
from like my kids, like it's gonna suck for me because I'm gonna want to watch a movie or something. But they're gonna play card games or something on the plane. Like you're not getting technology for at
You
least
know
the
what?
first
I
little bit. Because I want it to be like if
Okay,
I
would you
don't
be doing
give
your
you
kid a
my phone.
service or a disservice teaching like your 13-year-old how to play poker? Are you setting him up for a lifetime of misery or are you
That's
doing him a favor?
degeneracy. That's degeneracy. That young age might be degeneracy.
This is one
Blackjack
thing.
is fine.
Well, also, I think by what first grade you can play blackjack. When do you learn
Yeah,
how to
yeah, yeah.
add? Kindergarten?
Well,
Shit, I don't know.
I think we
The
learned
second you know how to
we
add,
learned in
you can play
kindergarten.
blackjack.
Yeah, we did preschool kindergarten. You could do some basic arithmetic.
Yeah, I swear, third
We
grade
were doing
after Halloween,
multiplication
we
in
were
second
doing
grade. We
Halloween
were doing
candy
multiplication.
poker and
Yeah,
blackjack. I did not
we were
know.
doing
I don't know how to
multiplication
play
in
poker
second
still.
grade. So yeah, no, neither of us do. That's been a point of contention while I've been here.
Yeah,
That neither
yeah,
Grant or
yeah,
I know how
yeah.
to play
Definitely
poker.
not going to get filled, but yeah. Okay. Back to the point. Well, Screw the planes. I
Yeah,
kind of
screw
like the bird topic of which vehicle, which vessel. And I mean, I know we're saying obviously birds. New question: which land grazing animal would you send to deliver a message?
cheetah.
Shit, that's such an easy answer. Yeah, that's the right
Cheetah.
answer. That's the right
Cheetah
answer.
or a zebra, one of the two.
Zebra. Okay, so that's just a show off.
Yeah.
That's just like to flex. Like, yeah, that's my zebra.
She's like, hey, you got the cheetah? No, 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 no. Look at my bank statements. I got the zebra. That's like the
If we're
rich people
talking now,
vehicle.
I just put myself in the times of like olden days where that potentially might be a thing. I know the cheetah zebra is pricing,
It's
but
horse,
I'm thinking
zebra,
like
or horse,
throwback now.
cheetah, zebra.
If we're talking modern day though, I think it'd be pretty funny sending like a beagle just howling and crying. Like, what's the
You
most
got
annoying?
Snoopy going.
Like, well, I was gonna say like a pit bull or a bulldog, but they'll eat the letter. It will never arrive.
It's
So
or it won't be eaten, but it's gonna be covered in slobber. It's gonna be wet, like disintegrated.
yeah, you won't be able to read the letter. So yeah,
Like a
they won't
chihuahua.
deliver it.
A chihuahua, like one of those like
Yeah,
really
let's
small,
pretend that
loud
this
dogs.
chihuahua can get through the streets and voyage his way out there to deliver this. I'm also assuming now I could be maybe I'm overestimating it here. As a man who's never seen Game of Thrones. Oh, what are they using Game of Thrones? Send letters. Owls,
Birds.
birds. Okay. My thought process: if you're gonna send a letter, like it's probably 10 plus miles. That'd be my guess. Um,
Probably more. I mean, it seemed like Game of Thrones was bigger than 10 miles
well,
long,
I'm
but
just thinking like if you were 5 miles away, you'd probably hand deliver,
no, they
right?
get them. They like there's like posts. Like you okay, this is Raven's gonna go from point A to point B, then point B to point C, point C to point D. Like they don't just fly. Like
Oh, I thought it was like Harry Potter. Like every single lit person just has a personal little bird, and you're like,
no, they
Henrik,
do. Well,
go.
it's not your personal. Like they have like a set of like 20 birds,
Yeah, okay.
unnamed, but yeah,
Damn. So those are like the one things that didn't get a name in
right,
bullshit. Everything else has a name, right?
more or
All the
less.
dragons have names.
Yeah, all the dragons have names.
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's good. Okay, all right. Think we can get off this topic now, unless yeah, unless you got something else to add. Even though today is the one day where we are allowed to spend as much time as we want on the pre-show, so we could take advantage of
What
it.
would be the best aquatic animal for message transport?
Okay, now I think
I'm saying
I
dolphin.
don't know why I instantly thought that I would be writing on this animal, but I totally forgot they're a messenger. Hmm. I think I'd go swordfish. That'd be a badass way to deliver a message.
Do they just jump, stick themselves into the dirt in front of you?
No, the message is
Unravel
in the swordfish's nose,
Oh,
and
you got
that's it the whole time. You got to take it off at the end.
You're actually you have to beat him in a sword fight to get the message. Like
Ooh,
that's
well,
what if the way you have to
sure.
like catch it, you have to like
Let's add
catch it. It's
that.
like,
Let's add
oh,
that
you know
twist.
what the best way? Message in a bottle. We're going classic. Message in a bottle.
Well, that's sure. The bottle
You
can
just
be an
pray it
animal
gets there.
for this.
Yeah, you
For
know.
this segment, sure. But dolphins probably the
Maybe a
first thing I thought
whale,
of.
like an orca.
I was thinking whale too. I was thinking seal, but I feel like they'd be hella inefficient.
Can
Um,
I claim a surfing penguin from Surfs Up? Is that on the
a-
table?
ooh, hell yeah. But it
Yeah,
depends.
give me
It
Zeke.
depends. Okay, good, good, good.
Yeah, give me Zeke.
What's the name of the macaroni penguin in that one?
The macaroni penguin?
Yeah, one of the penguins, the macaroni. You know what a macaroni hair penguin is, right? With the
I
little
think it's
yellow.
Big Z. Yeah, Big Z.
Is that?
Oh,
I'm talking the small guy. Big Z's the big one. I'm talking the
Big
small.
Z. Big
There's a
Z is the fat
smaller.
guy.
No, I know,
He's
not
the
that guy.
fat OG. You talking about the main guy that Shia LaBeouf
Let me
plays?
look it up. Let me look it up. Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
Oh no, I know who you're
No, not
talking.
Chicken Joe.
No,
Not
Chicken
Chicken
Joe.
Joe.
Don't slander Chicken Joe like
Not
that.
Chicken Joe. Chicken Joe's a literal chicken.
You're talking about one of like the background surfing
Oh,
penguins.
it's literally the main character. I'm stupid.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
The main character is a macaroni penguin. Okay. All right. On to the episode. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. It is episode 185. It is Tuesday, January 9th. A bit of a delay on this upload, but double pod today. Okay. Just gonna be one.
Yeah, this is actually gonna
double.
mess up our whole count going now.
Yeah, slightly.
We say
yeah.
185/186. We'll say episode
It'll be a
185/186.
two-parter, okay.
It's a two-part.
Okay. But have to admit it. I hate that I have to admit it, but the Michigan Wolverines are national champions. Have an NFL regular season wrap up, some coaching changes to go over too. Pretty big major one happened this morning, so it's kind of good that we're recording on Tuesday. Teoscar Hernandez is a Los Angeles Dodger. We did not talk about that last time. We're going to start with MLB this time because we'll get over it quickly. And some college football recruiting updates. We'll see how much of those we go over, but well, there was a pretty major one last night, so I guess that segment has some juice in it again. But okay, starting off in the MLB, Teoscar Hernandez, right fielder from the Mariners, prior with the Blue Jays where he broke out, has signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers $23.5 million contract. $8.5 million will be deferred from 2031 to 2038. Everett, we got another Bobby Bonilla
Deferral.
type day coming
Yeah,
up.
no, the
Teoscar Hernandez
20
Day, Mookie Betts Day, Freddie Freeman Day, and Otani Day are going to be electric.
Andrew Freeman's planning on being retired by when those contracts come around.
Well, if you remember Otani's deal, he might not be allowed to retire. So he might have to stay on.
Once Otani's done, then he is.
Yes. Now wait. Otani, his contract, is it for 12 or 13 or 10?
10.
Yeah, okay. So 10 years he could retire. 2034, I guess, technically. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you can retire, Andy. That's when you can. But Teoscar Hernandez is a Dodger. I got some quick little fun facts for you, okay? We went over it earlier. I was very, very high on Teoscar Hernandez. The corner outfield market, pretty weak this offseason. Teoscar Hernandez, I thought the Dodgers really needed a right-handed outfielder that hits against lefties. When I look at the construction of the Dodgers roster, a lot of lefties in there, pretty lefty heavy. So I did think having kind of a stud righty batter would be a priority signing if we were to go after another hitter. And Teoscar Hernandez is that guy. He is now a Dodger. So in 2021, when he broke out Everett, he had a 372, 407, 744 slash line for an 1150 OPS against lefties. The year after, he followed it up with a 980 OPS against lefties. And then this past season, down year for Teoscar, but I'll quickly explain why in a second. 820 OPS against lefties. Now, I know I'm not including his righty batting totals, but I don't really care what his righty batting totals are. Why? Because Teoscar Hernandez is going to be the 6 or 7 hitter for the Dodgers. When he was in Toronto, when he broke out with an 1150 OPS and 980, he hit 5th for them. So 5th in the lineup, hitting behind like Bo Bichette, Vladdy, guys like that in Toronto. Last year in Seattle, they moved him up in the order because he was one of the better hitters. They hit him 4th. That's when he had his numbers drop down. He was more of a priority at bat, a little more attention given to him, get a little more junk thrown his way. So Teoscar Hernandez, when he is a notable bat in the lineup that you can burn some of your nasty pitches on just to get him out, he obviously didn't perform as well. Good thing for the Dodgers, he'll be hitting 6th or 7th. So I do expect, I'm not saying he's going back to a near 1,000 OPS against lefties.
So real quick,
but I expect that to be at least 900.
Let's just go through the lineup right now. All right. So 1, I think
probably Mookie Betts is going to lead off. Yeah.
2,
he's the all-time Dodger leadoff home run record.
2, Freddie. 3, Shohei. 4, Will Smith.
Yeah.
5, Muncy.
I'm open to debate for who should be that 4 hitter, but
it's him or Muncy. So 4 Will Smith, 5 Muncy,
6 Teoscar Hernandez.
I was going to say Jason Hayward.
Teoscar
6 Teoscar Hernandez, 7 Jason Hayward, 8.
I guess 7 Jason Hayward, 8.
I would say Outman, 9 Lux, and I put Lux at 9 because he'll probably get on base, and then you have Mookie coming around.
So in those lineups, potentially, that'll be against a righty lineup. If we're trying to do Dave's little righty-lefty, then Hayward probably wouldn't play, and we would have like a CT3 in there.
Yeah.
And if that were the case, I'd drop CT to 8th, bat Lux 9th. We'll see what ends up actually happening, but at least the top 6 of this lineup is now very, very scary. And adding Teoscar Hernandez as the 6th hitter, now that's an AB that if he's going up against a lefty, you have to give him your best stuff or he's going to make you pay. And so I do think one thing the Dodgers could take a little bit more advantage of is having those scary at bats later in the lineup where you can't just against Outman just throw 3 fastballs down the pipe and he's striking out. So we want to make the other guys work a little bit when we get deeper into our lineups, and Teoscar Hernandez can add that, especially against lefties. Uh, but also right now, Dodgers are currently about 60 million over the salary cap into the luxury tax. Now, Guggenheim has showed they don't care about going to luxury tax, but we are still in it by a large margin right now. So I'm ready to say now, I'm not expecting anything else after this. I'm not expecting anything major after this.
Unless they start
Will it
trading away
happen?
players.
Probably, but I'm not expecting it. Okay.
If they can manage to get somebody to take on like a CT contract or something, then yeah,
That'd be the
something will happen.
dream. I don't know how we'll do it. We'll probably
You
have to give
give
up
it.
a prospect.
You'd
But
probably, yeah. I mean, if you give them to the Oakland A's, that might be Oakland A's entire budget. So I don't really know what
potentially.
other kind of like low team might be willing to take him. Um, Angels, if they bite, I doubt they would.
Yeah, I mean, they honestly do have money to spend right now, so maybe they could do
Padres,
it.
Padres,
That'd be funny if the Padres did. Yeah, I don't know where we could possibly get rid of CT from, but yeah, that's a
Mets like
contract that
spending money.
they do. They do. We'll see what happens next with the Mets. There is one other lefty, I believe, Japanese pitcher on the market. Dodgers are out on him. He's really not that good. But
We
he's like
we're
projected
in
to get
on
like
the
100.
we're in on the 18-year-old though, right? From Japan, Suzuki, not Suzuki,
We talking Roki Sasaki?
Sasaki. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one we want. He throws 102. He's
Yeah.
21.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he was 18.
He's 21, but he's going to do what Yamamoto just did next year and like be a free
Okay.
agent.
Well,
So
no,
that's next year.
there's another one who is like
There's a
young.
hitter. There's a hitter. I believe Munataka Murikama. Damn, I don't know. I don't know his name, but there's a lefty hitter who's like 22, 23 years old, but I think he's gonna wait like 2 seasons till he declares for MLB,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, those are kind of Dodger updates. I also just want to say though, essentially going into next season compared to last year, the Dodgers are pretty much just losing. Maybe Julio Urias counts, even though that one doesn't really count. JD Martinez, and Clayton Kershaw. Those are kind of the guys who
Dustin
we're
May,
losing. Yeah, but
kind
that
of.
was mid-season, so
Gonsolin still vibing around?
he's gone, but that's probably a good thing that he's gone. So I don't necessarily count that as like a bad loss, but
Kike, Kike's gone.
which I'm okay with. But
Wong, right? Wong was on the team.
thank God he's gone. But you get what I'm saying, okay? That's who we gave up. The Dodgers have added Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Teoscar Hernandez, Walker Buehler, and Gavin Lux. That's who the Dodgers have added this year in exchange for the names we just mentioned. So yeah, it is ring or bust. It is ring or bust. We've already been at like ring or bust status, like going into the past few seasons. So it's still ring or bust. This will be the last year Walker Buehler pitches for the Dodgers, though. So, like personally, Walker Buehler is one of my favorite players on the team, so that one stings. But this is going.
Yeah,
This is
no,
a year where we're stacked. We're
paying
stacked,
paying three
and our
hundred
players are still
dollars
in their prime. So
paying $300 for a nosebleed ticket and paying the another $300 just for like 2 hot dogs and a beer probably is not going to be too fun, but at least the entertainment will be there.
yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how these. I'm
Concession
very
prices
curious about these
change.
Dodger dog prices specifically. Like they might. There's got to be like some deal where like if Otani hits a home run, like 50% off Dodger dogs or something.
And
Like
that
there's got to be
actually takes
something.
it, that 50% off takes it back down to the price it was
Yeah,
last
yeah,
season.
no, that just goes to normal
Normal
face
prices.
value in a standard pre-Otani season. So yeah. But that was a quick little Dodger update. I'm super, super hyped on Teoscar Hernandez. That's a very, very big get. He should be playing right, also. Should be playing right field. But We want to move on to college football next. Where are we gonna move? Okay,
Yeah, let's
moving
go
on to
college
college
football.
football now. Okay, um, we'll lead off with the big news that happened last night, which I was hinting to, which didn't think was gonna happen, but it did. The number 4 player in the transfer portal, Ole Miss running back Quinshawn Judkins has committed to Ohio State. Scored 31 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. Uh, I'll be honest, when I first heard this move, now I've told you this many times, however, but I
And on
thought
yesterday when
yes,
we were talking.
I thought it was an NIL negotiating, bargaining tactic by Judkins to stay at Ole Miss, but he wanted more money. That's truly what I thought it was. Apparently, capital J journalism here, capital A allegedly. Allegedly, Quinshawn Judkins' agent has been informed by maybe not necessarily NFL teams themselves, but his agent is suggesting to Quinshawn Judkins that it's in his best interest long term to, instead of having another season where he gets 300 touches, he's had 300 touches his first 2 seasons at Ole Miss, that it would be better for him to play in a split backfield with less touches so he can stay healthy for the draft and the NFL long term. So I was under the impression at first when Quinshawn Judkins entered the transfer portal that Trevion Henderson definitely is leaving for this to happen. Apparently, with that draft agent rumor coming in, apparently Judkins might want to be in a split backfield specifically instead of getting another 300 touches at Ole Miss. So Trevion Henderson hasn't even declared he's returning yet. I don't even know if that's happening.
I mean, it sounds like he is.
Probably is. It sounds like he probably is.
But I mean, the one thing that I said was,
I don't know. Even if he
like,
doesn't come, we got it back. So
we were talking about whether or not it was going to be a good idea. Like, how would splitting a backfield affect your draft status? And obviously, we said, okay, they already have film on these guys. Like, it's kind of preserving them. But like the thing that we saw was, you know, and all these backfields where they've had great backs at the same time, like Bama or Georgia with Nick Chubb and Sony Michel, where they've had a first round draft pick and a second round draft pick. There's going to be a knock. One of the two of them will not be a first round talent or in probably the same round as the other, just by the basis that they're splitting the backfield. But they will both still be draft high. Now, will they be drafted as high as they would where they would be their own lead back? Probably not. But similarly, let's look at Michigan with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, right? They effectively are splitting the backfield, and obviously they're not both going in the draft this season, but they were dominantly splitting.
In theory, Donovan Edwards could still declare, but yeah.
He could, but he's probably not. Blake Corum is what, like the third, fourth, fifth best running back in this class, so it's not necessarily the same picture. And Donovan Edwards,
he might be like number 2 or 3. Like the way the
running
back
Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving.
I think Corum will be
Jonathan
projected
Brooks.
higher than Braylon Allen, even though I would take Braylon Allen.
I would take Braylon Allen.
I think Jonathan Brooks might be number 1 on the board, in my opinion. Like I'm a big fan of Jonathan. Even with
but the point being that you can have a split backfield and successfully be a high draft pick. The question is just going to be which one of the two of them is going to have the draft stock a little bit lower, because obviously historically we've never seen both taken in the same round. I think the last time we saw 2 players in the same position on the same team drafted in the first round offensively was Noah Fant and TJ Hawkinson, both tight ends. Same position.
Garrett and Olave back to back, and maybe JMO counts.
No, but I mean, where you're not going to be like on the field at like the same time like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because running backs, you're not running both running. Wide receivers is a completely different thing.
Fant and who else? Hawk?
Fant and Hawk.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, they are same class, huh?
I'm discounting Garrett and Olave because you can throw to them at the same time. They can both get film kind of at the same time. I don't think Iowa ran both Fant and Hawkinson like that.
They definitely had him on the field a lot at the same time, but
it's a little bit different than wide receiver.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I get that. I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? I was about to just think about running backs. I'm not gonna do that. That sounds boring. Okay. Other Ohio State news. Oh yeah, they fired the safeties coach Perry Eliano. I forgot to mention this earlier, but Perry Eliano like essentially did not land a single notable safety at his time at Ohio State.
So let's talk about this.
A 5-star safety.
Let's talk about this though. let's talk about what we were talking about last night and the recruiting for wide receivers and the development for wide receivers and how you think, how uh
Brian Hartline?
Brian Hartline might not actually be doing as good of a job. And on top of that, the fact that they want to bring in a co-offensive coordinator. And while you do that, I'll
Yeah.
just give me 1 second as you do this.
So yeah, the first thing is with this, when it comes to the OC situation, Perry Eliano getting fired, there's rumors floating around. Well, this part isn't rumors. Ryan Day has confirmed that he is actively searching for an offensive coordinator. Now, he hasn't necessarily uh, disclosed who the search is. They've actually tried to keep it. What's up? Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they haven't necessarily disclosed any target names or anything. No specific moves being listed out, but what has been floated around is that Ryan Day will hire a co-offensive coordinator to I get co-OC alongside with Brian Hartline. But Ryan Day is going to give this new offensive coordinator the authority to hire position coaches or fire position coaches as he sees fit. So with that in mind,
Sorry,
one name.
I had to grab my AirPods real quick to charge them.
Oh yeah, no worries. But one name floated around is Dan Mullen, which got me excited. I'm not gonna lie. I love Dan Mullen. I love Dan Mullen OC. We'll see what ends up
Co-OC,
actually.
co-OC,
My bad. Sorry, Brian.
You can't be
Sorry, Brian.
slandering Brian Hartline like that. You know
But
this.
I'd be super hyped on Dan Mullen, but more so what Everett was alluding to earlier in the season, how probably would be best off for Ryan Day. Well, he's also, I mean, his ass is on the line right now. His seat is as hot. I've never seen an Ohio State coach be on a seat this hot in my life. So,
And Ryan Day's burning.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, one more Michigan loss.
I probably you said Brian Hartline. My bad.
Oh no, Ryan Day.
Yeah. No, I think you said that, and I just was still on Hartline, so I was just making myself.
Ryan Day made it clear that the only offensive position coach that is safe, no matter what, is Brian Hartline. And look at
the now your dream was Mike Vrabel to Ohio State.
Yeah. So this is the thing.
And we'll get into it later, obviously. Yeah. But
it's just I know Mike Vrabel would never consider going back to college. I know he wouldn't. However, in a magical fairy tale world where Mike Vrabel calls up the Ohio State University right now and tells them, I want to be a head football coach, Ryan Day, see ya. Not even thinking twice. Give me Vrabel.
I think, but if you're Mike Vrabel, though,
I know he wouldn't ever do it.
But let's say you were like, let's say you personally, right? Let's say you personally were Mike Vrabel with your own opinions about Ohio State and whatever, right? And you're like, this is one of my dream jobs. Let's just say, hypothetically, it's one of his dream jobs, right? But let's also say you were offered that and the Patriots job at the same time. What do you take?
Probably take the Patriots. Fire him. And I think that's still going to end up.
That's what's going to happen. Which is great for me, by the way, because Brian Flores probably won't leave then. But
let me start off by saying this. I'm pretty sure Ohio State has already reached out to Mike Vrabel offering him to be the head coach of Ohio State. And I don't think he's going to even respond.
The other thing, though, is if the Chargers got Mike Vrabel, but we'll get into that later.
That's one that I don't even want to float that idea into my mind. Don't get me excited.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later.
Earlier this year, some Titans fans were joking around like the Chargers suck because of their coach, and we can't tank because of our coach. Let's just trade. Give us Stanley, you guys get Vrabel. And I was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, let's do it.
But back to Ohio State. I do think that no matter what, but especially if Harbaugh leaves, if Ryan Day does not win that game next year, he is gone.
I think he's fired.
He is gone. If he loses a game, let's put it this way. If he loses a single game next year, he is gone. Like, it does not matter if it's Michigan.
Well,
like, if he lost to Penn State and then still beats Michigan, I still think that he's
not
on.
losing to Penn State.
But like, that's my example.
Like last year, okay? Let's say it was last year. They beat Michigan, okay? They get TCU first round, they beat them. and then they lose to Georgia on a missed field goal, I mean, we wouldn't fire Ryan Day. You get what I'm saying?
I'm saying regular season,
Oh,
Fox,
okay, okay.
not playoffs. Playoffs doesn't matter.
Okay, okay.
If like that's what I'm saying, like regular season, even if you make the playoffs, let's say it's like last year.
Wait. Okay, let's
Let's
assume
say
Michigan wins the Big Ten next year. Let's assume that Ohio State doesn't get a first round bye. If Ohio State got upset in the first round and lost the first
then yeah,
ever home
you're
playoff
gone.
game, gone. Yeah.
But I am also saying, I think no matter what, if Ohio State doesn't win,
I'll be honest, I don't think it's possible for Ohio State to lose a regular season game other than maybe Oregon.
that they play Michigan,
Oregon, we could
and Michigan
well,
is
no,
a
that's what I'm
regular
saying.
season.
No, that's what I'm saying. Other than Michigan,
I don't know their
Oregon's the only
schedule
one
for
maybe.
next year. But I mean,
Oregon's like week 4, so that one could be up.
I think that if they lose a game in the regular season next year, doesn't matter if it's Michigan, doesn't matter if it's Oregon, doesn't matter if
I
it's Penn
like
State.
that. I like that
I think
one.
he's gone.
I don't disagree with that
He's
either.
fired. So
well, actually, I slight disagree. If they lost to Oregon but beat Michigan, he's 100% fine. And I agree with you on this. If he lost to Oregon, then he's probably going to lose to Michigan too. That's where I'll agree with you on.
Yeah.
But in a world where I literally do not think it's possible for Ohio State to lose to Oregon and beat Michigan next year, I genuinely don't believe that's possible. So I'm not even going to consider
Ohio
it.
State does weird things.
But
Ohio
like, if that happens, then he would be safe. There's only one game that could save his ass if that were to happen. If he loses a game going into Michigan, that's the only way he could save himself. But yeah, for the OC search, that's going to be very exciting. But what we were bringing up earlier about Brian Hartline, being a little critical on him. If you look up Brian Hartline, the guys that he's truly recruited from start to finish on his own and taken in, let's start with Brian Hartline's very first year as wide receiver coach, 2019 or 2018 at Ohio State, actually. During that season, they had KJ Hill, Benjamin Victor, Austin Mack, Johnny Dixon, I think Paris Campbell. Not necessarily like crazy guys, which Ohio State has now. But those guys were all Zach Smith recruited guys. So not the superstar Brian Hartline, but when it came to Garrett Wilson and Olave and Jamison Williams, those were all Zach Smith recruits. And those were the 3 guys that kind of spearheaded and led Ohio State wide receiver recruiting to where it is now. Those 3 guys, even though Jamison Williams doesn't really count, but you get what I'm saying. But Garrett and Olave. Oh yeah, with Herbert. Oh my God, that got me fired up. I wonder, like, people. This is just me being a Chargers fan, and Chargers charging the franchise is so shit that I'm just like, I don't see why many coaches would find us attractive. But like, it is Justin Herbert, and maybe I am the real stupid one here, and the coaches really only care about the quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see.
The only thing, by the way, no, I'll save it for when we get to the NFL. Never mind.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I slightly lost my train of thought. Okay, Brian Hartline, the recruiter.
Hartline.
The receivers under him afterwards. So that was the 2018 recruiting class, I want to say, or 2019 recruiting class. 2020 recruiting class. That was Julian Fleming, Jackson Smith and Jigba, G. Scott, and I believe Mookie Cooper. That was one of the craziest wide receiver class ever. That was Brian Hartline. Now, of the 4 names I just listed, only one of them. Now, yes, JSN was a first-round pick, but only one of them like really panned out to the star potential that you'd expect out of a recruiting bunch that highly rated. Year after, the 2022 wide receiver class, he whiffed on every single one of them. Or 2021, every single one, all misses. Not a single one of those guys is a notable name. And like, I would start listing names for you, Everett, but I know you don't know who they are, so I'm not going to.
Most likely not know who they are.
Now, 2022, solid, very solid. He got Innis, Carnell Tate. Noah Rogers just transferred and left, but Innis and Carnell Tate, very big. And then he just got Jeremiah Smith. So, okay, And Mylan Graham. So yeah, okay, that's 4 or 5 stars in the past 2 years. Yeah, okay, pretty solid shit, Brian. It's just he did develop. Hmm, I was about to say it. You tell me, guys. Did Brian Hartline develop Marv? Because in my opinion, from what I heard, Everett, Marv stays after practice by himself for like 6 hours catching balls. So,
I mean, you can't, but I mean, you can't like
but my question is,
work
why
ethic is
is
one thing. Like that's his work ethic, and obviously, Brian Hartline doesn't have anything to do with that specifically,
I
but
think he can definitely contribute to his
he can
players' work ethic
contribute to
a
it.
million percent.
No, but but with him deciding, Brian Hartline isn't telling Marv like, "Hey, you are required by me to come and do this."
No, 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 no,
Marv
no.
just
No,
doesn't.
I
But what I am saying,
exactly,
what I am saying though,
exactly.
what I am saying is that when you recruit these guys and like you know that these like there's only so much that a jug machine is like players, it only helps you. Like he definitely has a very large hand in developing Marv, but Marv being who Marv is, there's just an immediate leg up on any other of the other players and how quickly they would develop. Like
No,
it's
yeah,
just easier
exactly.
for Heartline
No,
because the
there's
fact it's Marv. But
like
it doesn't
I
mean
would
that
say
he
that
hasn't done anything.
there's like that guy Marv. I'm convinced he really could have gone anywhere and still dominated. I'm not necessarily sure if it's Brian Hartline who got into where he is today. Because if you listen to
Marv,
what
just don't enter the draft. Hit the portal and come to Tulane for me, please. Thank you.
Good one. But when it comes to you look at JSN, Olave, Garrett, those 3 guys, and that one you can give Brian Hartline to a degree for their route running skills. Like that, those 3, oh my God, they run the crispiest routes I've ever seen in my life. Marv, not necessarily. Marv's just the greatest like possession catch in traffic receiver I've ever seen, just most talented ball skills I've ever seen. And he's just 6'4", very, very gifted. So it's like different players completely. But the Brian Hartline thing, now he's recruiting better than any assist I've ever seen at Ohio State. So I can't really say shit. So I'm not knocking him there. Like he's recruiting his ass off. But it's like Emeka Egbuka, rumored to stay. I mean, now he did have tightrope surgery on his ankle mid-season. So that contributes to a lot of his lack of production end of the year. But for a guy who was projected to maybe go 10th, 15th in the draft preseason, not what you'd expect out of him.
Even
So
midseason though, too.
yeah, a little bit.
Mid season, he was even projected to go around there, and if not, maybe late first.
But yeah, there's that. There's only 2 more quick little
right now,
things.
I'd probably put him in second round.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. But in terms of last quick little 2 updates, number 1 player class of 2025, Bryce Underwood, quarterback from Michigan, has committed to LSU, and number 4 cornerback in the class of 2020, number 4 player, best cornerback, Devin Sanchez from Texas, has committed to Ohio State. So those quick little recruiting updates. Obviously, more portal stuff's going on. Everything's crazy, but
Before we get to what I know you want to talk about for college football, and one of the things that we were promised last night and did not get, just want to shout out, did this in the last episode that is now sent to the fucking grave. Shout out to Tulane football and for recruiting what Coach John Summerall has done since getting to the program and the players he's landed. Ty Thompson, former 5-star quarterback, coming to Tulane out of the portal from Oregon. Massive pickup. I think that he is the highest rated quarterback prospect we have ever had, either recruited or in the portal. He's still gonna have to compete though. Still gonna have to compete. My guy Kai will not go down without a fight, and that will be a strict and a heavy competition for that starting quarterback spot. But gotten DBs from Troy, gotten some other players, wide receivers. So great job in the portal. Tulane's looking pretty good for next season. So just want to shout out.
Fun fact of the day. Just quick little searching of Kai Horton and Ty Thompson. They are both the exact same size, 6'4", 220.
Yep.
Carbon copies of each other.
Carbon copies.
We'll see how
Fun.
that actually.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Just look at a picture of both of them. But okay. All right. Anything else college football? I mean, we've kind of been going through this a little quickly, so we can kind of.
There's something college football. There's some
Now,
color.
are we talking NCAA football right here?
Yeah, we're talking NCAA football.
Okay. I feel like this is arguably its own little subsection, not even in the college football section. NCAA football is such a
Yeah.
massive thing that it's going to be its own little segment in the timestamp. So, okay. Uh, well, we'll see. We'll see if I just cut it out from this or if I go and green screen it up. But college football, NCAA football 25. There was a sick and twisted rumor going around on Twitter yesterday that we would see a commercial for the new NCAA football video game, which we have been waiting 11 years for, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, 11 years. Think about that. Last one came out July 2013. So we have been waiting 11 years now. There were rumors coming out that they would drop a commercial during the national championship. Did not happen. We haven't even talked about that yet. Did not happen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Did not. God damn it. I wouldn't.
Almost forgot about that.
Fully would have glossed over it if I didn't just mention that right now. But in this game, I don't want to say, I'm assuming it's not getting delayed anymore. I guess they just didn't. It would have been a golden time to drop the
But I
trailer,
mean,
but they
look, the
didn't.
one thing that I'm saying is this was an inside job. Somebody at EA
kind of like that guy who hacked
kinda like
GTA and leaked the game.
No, but he was like, "Hey, like we might drop a trailer," and you just the trailer itself or the was us hyping it up, talking about like that's the marketing. That was the marketing. Is we were automatically just talking about it. That was more talked about than the game itself.
I'll just
for the
never
Natty.
forget when they tweeted out like
College football is back.
we're coming back or so. I was like, this is the great. And that was like 2 years ago when that may have been 3 years ago when they tweeted that out. I think they may have tweeted out
it was
January
2 years ago.
2021.
2 years ago.
January 2022. Okay. All right.
2 years ago.
But there's a couple, hopefully the game doesn't get delayed, but after that botched trailer moment.
I think that like they know no matter what, everybody will buy it when it comes out. But I do also think they've realized that if they delay this game more, they actually might have the headquarters burnt to the ground.
Yeah, EA might just give up on production of the game.
Also, for the fact that 95% of the community's been like, I don't care if you're waiting to do face scans.
People are going to download rosters anyway.
Give it to me. You could literally just give me a remastered version of the 2014 game, and I will use that.
Like straight up, if they just added a $45 DLC on Madden to just play with college teams, I'd probably do it in a heartbeat. But
it would be shit because it's off of Madden.
Now, hopefully this isn't true, but I mean, the way it's looking, we're going to assume there's going to be another delay, which means EA has time to implement some changes and suggestions, which I'm about to go over. So this is my quick little mini wish list of things that I want to be in this next NCAA game. A lot of these are going to be like dynasty mode related, franchise mode related. That's what I spend most of my time doing. But a couple of these, we're going to try to open it up to other things. So the first one's going to be the general one. I want historic teams like 2K in the game. Let me play as 2019 LSU with Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or let me play with 2014 Ohio State, which we never got to see in an official NCAA 14 game because the last regular season of teams we got was the 2013-14 season. Johnny Manziel was the best player in that game when it came out, Everett. Fun fact of the day. So that's how old it is. But I want, most of all, when it comes to historic teams, like how 2K does it, let me finally answer the debate. Who's better, 2001 Miami or 2019 LSU? Let me finally answer the debate. Let me solve it, okay? We can do that if we add in historic teams. And you know what? The people deserve it. For missing out on 11 years.
Don't need face scans or nothing. Nothing. Because I know you'll have to pay them more. You'll have to pay them more to do those. Nothing.
But literally. But also, they probably have a lot of the face scans for Madden already for those players. So
yeah,
shouldn't be that hard. But yeah. Next, this is more dynasty related, but technically applies to Road to Glory. Let me customize the college football playoff size. Okay, next year. College football playoff is going to a 12-team expanded playoff for the first time ever. For the past decade, we've been in a 4-team playoff, but we've never had an official NCAA game, even with a 4-team playoff structure. So let me go in the settings. Let me change the playoff size to down to 4. Maybe I want to go up to 16. But most of all, let us do a March Madness 64 team college football playoff bracket. I want to be able to do March Madness in college football.
You
Okay.
want to see, so you've seen this guy on YouTube. I think his name's Bordeaux. He does like imperialism, like
Yes.
map games.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what you want
Yes.
to see.
Essentially.
You sicko, you're part of the sicko committee, like on Twitter. You know that
But I'm a sicko. I am,
yeah, sicko. You're a
apparently.
sicko.
But I want to be able to do March Madness with college football, essentially. That was the grander point of this. Next. Now, these are all going to be dynasty related things. I guess technically applies to Road to Glory too. Good and or great players should be declaring early for the draft. They should not be staying for all 4 years. It is way too easy to convince your 3-time Heisman winner, 3-time national champion winner that he should return for his senior season to get his degree and pursue his education. Okay. We all know that's a bullshit answer, and we all know nobody would ever return to college for that if they were a 3-time Heisman, 3-time Natty winner at the time. So we know that would not be a reason. So we need to make it so screw it. Unless you're a Tim Tebow situation where you're actually not a good player, but like a Caleb Williams, for example, I know there's rumors floating that he might say no. You should not be allowed to keep him for his senior season. He needs to leave. Like for the balance of the game, he needs to leave. So that's the first major dynasty thing. Next, NIL in recruiting. This is definitely going to be in the game, but we'll see how much of a factor they make it. I think they need to make NIL I'm not saying it needs to be the main factor, but a major factor in the recruiting process. So in Madden, they have the proximity to home. They have the special like little free agency like player. What's the term, like player interest level? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yes.
player interest. So I'm not saying every player, but some players like NIL is going to be their main interest. Some players will be proximity to home, their main interest. So they can factor it differently, but NIL needs to be a factor. And to a degree, like we probably should just be starting out with NIL budgets. Let's just peel the band-aid off, boys, and just admit the truth. Like everyone's got an NIL budget now. So like let's just do it how it really is. Let's not pretend like we're not paying the players crazy amounts of money. And then last thing, transfer portal. Kind of a two-part answer here, but we need to have a transfer portal first because of how important it is in college football. But I'm not even necessarily talking about getting transfer players, but more so losing your own players to the transfer portal. Okay. There should be, when you're recruiting like new freshmen to come into school, there should be a couple recruits where, in order for them to come, they need some type of promise or guarantee of getting like 750 receiving yards or like 40 catches or like 6 touchdowns or something. And if those requirements aren't met, then they hit the transfer portal. Now, it'd be cool if they made it that if your player enters the transfer portal, it's not necessarily like they're going and leaving. They could still come back, but they need to make the transfer portal a big factor in terms of losing players. Like that's the
It
only
should be
free agency
really
aspect.
like you should, it's like real life where you should have somebody come in 1 year from the portal, and if you don't play them that much, gone.
Yeah.
Or even Dylan Grable could be your starter, gone. Just wants to go to a better team, gone.
Yeah. So transfer portal needs to be very important for this game. And I think an easy way of implementing it in is some statistical guarantees of receiving yards or whatnot. But those are the 5 things I want the most of all those. The transfer portal is the main thing that they need to get right, and that it'll definitely be in the game. Like they have to include that. It's such a big part of college football. So we'll see. We'll see exactly how it plays out. Last little mini thing. This I don't necessarily need this. I think it'd be cool. Might make the game too complex, but in the past, you could only recruit for the upcoming recruiting class. Let me go 2 years. Let me go 1 year in advance too.
They're
Let
not
me
going to do
let,
that.
let me start getting ahead. I know they won't. I
I'm
know.
not getting your
But
hopes
let me
up.
start getting
They're
ahead.
not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Okay, let's talk about the national championship. There's not much to talk about here, to be honest.
Yeah, well, not the most
Unfortunately,
exciting football game. You know, why
but
don't let's start off with you actually giving your thoughts on the game itself, because I'm not going to talk about the game itself. I'm talking about my emotional situation as an Ohio State fan. So, I'm gonna
well,
take a
so I
quick,
mean,
quick little fill my water bottle up real quick.
I
Keep
said
going, I'll be back.
I said that Michigan is gonna win. I said that was what was gonna happen, and obviously they did. Unfortunately for Grant, but I did think that the game was going to be a bit higher scoring. I thought that there was a chance, Washington could win to get the ball first, could score first, stop Michigan, and score again, go up 14-0. And, it'd be the first time Michigan has been down by 2 scores. I was very wrong about that. I had some like concerns kind of right before the game where it's like, I feel like this could be a TCU thing where like, I don't know why I just have a vibe that Michigan just might come out and stomp them. And it was a pretty close game for a while, but then going in the second half, everything just went off the rails. Everything was not going well in the first half to begin with, but everything went off the rails in the second half. And the bigger thing is that Michael Penix kind of destroyed some of his draft stock this year. Like he already had
You know what that ointment went? Oh, there it is.
No problem. But yeah, no, I mean his draft stock was somewhat problematic already. He was kind of a first round pick, and I think he was going to be kind of late first round, and now he probably
Sorry, there was a bit of a line at the water fountain to fill up my water bottle. But I'm back.
Did
now.
you find the rash ointment that you've been asking for?
What? Rash? What? Rash ointment?
Rash ointment.
What?
You texted me beforehand.
Wait, did they just get that on? Did they get that on camera? Edit that out, unnamed intern, or else I'm leaking your name. It's Chris. Okay, go on.
But Michael Penix was going to be a first round pick, most likely late first round, even though I don't have him graded that, but like I think that there was a chance he was going to be. Now I think he's going to be a second, even maybe a third round pick based on how that game went and the fact that of injury concerns and everything. So I don't really know outside of that if there was any benefit to Washington. They almost got the trifecta. They almost got every single player on their offensive line having some sort of false starter holding penalty. I think one player on the O-line did not have a penalty.
Now, there were people after the game highlighting the lack of penalties called against Michigan in this game. I personally don't really care that much. Michigan was just a better team than Washington. This is kind of one question I have before I dive into the sad part. JJ McCarthy, he went 10 for 18, 140 yards, no picks. Where do we evaluate JJ McCarthy as an NFL prospect?
Brock Purdy.
Really? Brock
Purdy. Comparatively, like that's something that I saw though. Comparatively, the way that he probably would play in the NFL is very similar. Now, I'm not saying that means he's going to be a seventh round pick.
I know the comparison for JJ McCarthy, and I mean it in a good way. But
like Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, I'll give it, but keep going.
But like people are saying, the way that Brock Purdy plays right now in the NFL probably would be a similar style to what JJ McCarthy would do. Now, JJ McCarthy would be a first round pick, but I think it's different.
If I were to give a comparison to JJ McCarthy, I would say it's just a more consistent version of Taylor Heinicke. Okay.
Yeah,
and I mean that in the most, I do not mean that disrespectfully. Okay. Go look up good Taylor Heinicke. Okay. That's a good ass quarterback right there.
Washington Commanders, Taylor Heinicke.
The one thing about JJ that impresses me the most is his ability to escape, kind of make plays with his feet, get outside the pocket, make throws on the run. That's kind of one thing about his game, which pisses me off that Kyle Honda McCord couldn't do this year. And when I even go back to Cade McNamara versus JJ, that was a little debate for a period of time going into last season. I thought it was a no-brainer. JJ McCarthy will just elevate Michigan's offense, giving some type of mobile threat back there. Like that is what Michigan is missing. If you look back at when Urban Meyer dominated Michigan, what did Michigan never have? Like a true mobile quarterback that Ohio State had to be worried about. It'd be John O'Corn and Wilton Spate just standing back there like a statue, and they couldn't do anything if like any DN came near them. So JJ McCarthy has allowed Michigan to run their bullshit little stupid stuff. And I'm curious to see where he goes. In that late first round draft order.
It sounds a lot like right now that he's coming back.
Oh, I think
I did say this when we were watching the game though, but he might be. It's going to be him meditating on the cover of the next NCAA football game. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it is. It'd be very funny if they just made it Jim Harbaugh. That'd be so funny, but
It's
it
in the
has to be a
NFL now,
player.
but
It has to be a player.
it would probably be Dion if it was a coach, though.
I was thinking it could be cool. They're not gonna do it because it'll cost a lot of money, but I thought it could be cool if they did like a potential 11 of who would have been on the cover of the last 11 games, but I know they're
They
not gonna do
said
that.
they said that it's going to be a player that you're going to stick with the same way that it always has been, where it's a player who's returning. But Joe Burrow on the cover
Well, in the
deserves
past, it
to
would be a
happen.
player, it would be a player who had just graduated because they couldn't do current players because that technically be NIL at the time. But I think they
So then
should
it'll
do
be
that.
Caleb
I think it
Williams
should be a player. Well,
who's
I think it
returning.
should be a returning player now moving forward. But
I
did
think
they
that's what they said. I
confirm?
think that's what they said that they were doing because I saw
I
that
think they
somewhere.
should do that. Yeah, they should.
But they
If
should do
not,
that,
make
and
it
then
Joe Burrow.
they should do like a legacy edition. You know how
Yeah,
Madden has like
with Joe
they do
Burrow
a
on the cover.
yes, that's what it should be.
Yes.
But look, the Natty is nothing much to
Shit.
speak
Last
of. It
thing.
is literally your
Update
hell, though.
ratings throughout the season because if I were to think, let's say there was an NCAA football 20 for the LSU Natty year, they would have never updated Joe Burrow's stats. He would have started as like an 84 overall, and they would have never upgraded him. You get what I'm saying?
Madden still doesn't do that, so that's a bold statement.
Madden
Madden is
doesn't
so
upgrade players. Yeah, they do.
they do, but Madden is so lazy that with franchise mode, which by the
Okay.
way would be like dynasty mode, they only update it 2 times a year.
Okay. Okay.
Pretty ass.
Probably not then. All right. All right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, outside of there's not much to talk about the game. Michael Penix just did not look good.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I'll just be honest. He was just
he did
missing
not look good.
throws
He was
left and
missing
right.
throws really bad.
It was crazy.
The O line didn't look good, and it was quite literally Grant's worst nightmare.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start off with this. If you were to tell me in the 2020 season, okay, if you were to tell me 2 hours before the kickoff of Ohio State Alabama, the 2020 national championship, that Michigan would win a national championship before Ohio State does next, I would have laughed my ass off. Whoever told me that, I would have laughed him out of the room. I would have called him the biggest moron on earth, the biggest dummy I've ever met in my life. I think for 95% of people, if you told them in 2020 that Michigan would win a national championship before Ohio State, they'd all laugh you out the room. That happened. I'm going to compare 3 pain moments. Well, you know what? Screw it. I'll include the Georgia national championship. 4 pain moments to Michigan winning the national championship. Okay. First time Michigan beat us, 2021. That hurt a lot. That hurt a lot.
Yeah, you didn't talk to me for a week.
That one hurt a lot. That one was a full-on identity crisis. The second Michigan Ohio State loss 2 years ago in the shoe. First time Ohio State's ever lost to Michigan in the shoe of my life. That hurt more because it was at home, because I had convinced myself in my head, you know what? When we go to Ann Arbor, it's a slugfest. That's what this rivalry is about. But when we're in Columbus, we know it's a guaranteed win. Incorrect. That's false. That's what I thought. Incorrect. Rude awakening. And then this year, was I as sad and crushed as the last two? No. But was I?
You were embarrassed.
Yeah.
Is the word I would say.
Embarrassed, confused, and I guess already like in the third stage of guilt, like already getting a little bit on or
despair.
Yeah, despair. Yeah, already moving on a little bit. And then the last one, the Georgia missed field goal, where Ohio State was a kick away from being national champions last year. That one stung the least out of all of the ones I just mentioned. Okay. And so the big point I want to make here is that when it comes to me personally, I know I don't speak for the whole fan base. When it comes to me personally, I care more about beating Michigan than winning a national championship. I know I don't speak for everyone, but if I just go off how I feel and compare these moments, that one pisses me off more, losing to Michigan than not winning the national championship. But if I were to compare the pain I felt in all those games with Michigan winning the national championship, especially after all the shit they've gotten from the general media, after being called cheaters, after which they are, but you know what? I don't even care anymore that they cheated. Like, I don't care if the NCAA sanctions this. I honestly don't expect them to take this away. because Michigan had their moment. Like just seeing Michigan people being able to say we are the best last night and no one can say shit, that was soul crushing. Crushing.
Seeing the party in Ann Arbor,
Yeah,
tough to watch.
yeah, that was what angered me. Like it, and I now think I'm ready to say that I'm not even necessarily sure how big of an Ohio State fan. I think I just
You,
really
you
fucking
know,
hate Michigan.
you know what? You know what would be a great green screen post for TikTok?
What?
Ohio State fan compensates with Michigan winning the Natty.
I was considering doing that. That could work. That could potentially work. That could be it today. We'll see how much time we have. I would just say more so like it's just the trajectory of Ohio State over the past shit my whole life in Michigan, and how it seems like Ohio State we've been slowly but surely building every single year my whole life, like to that national championship in 2014. Like I feel like since that was that was so long ago. That game happened in January 2015. Okay, that was 9 years ago when Ohio State won the national championship. Like I don't even remember what that feeling was like. Uh, but it's just the fact that at one point Jim Harbaugh was really 0-5. And if he didn't bitch out of that 2020 game, he would have been fired. Knowing that, to go from that to now winning a national championship, literally the biggest thing you could do in the sport. I mean, that
Means
kills me.
there's still hope for Ryan Day. There's still hope for Ryan Day.
I mean in theory, yes. And I mean, I guess if you do look at like Kirby Smart, the start of his career at Georgia, boy, I mean, shit. Even after this last loss to Bama, you go look up Georgia fans. Can't beat Nick, can't beat Saban. That's the one problem with Kirby. So, I mean, everyone has problems with their coaches at some point. I mean, go look up Michigan fans' tweets. They all wanted Harbaugh fired, like even in 2021. So, everyone gets pissed off at their coach at some point. But for me personally, Ohio State, we got different standards. Ryan Day, if you lose in Michigan next year, yeah, get the fuck out. I don't care. So yeah. That's my recap. I am in shambles. I'm in peril. I will say a thing that really bothers me about the recent Michigan crowd is how many new fans there are. How many people that just
It's
showed up
now
in
taking on
2021,
the Cowboys, Patriots, Boston Bruins,
not quite
Yankees
there, but
fan, Duke,
not
the Duke
quite there
fans.
yet, but Michigan keeps up this success, they could end up being the bandwagon team over Bama, which I mean, oh my god. So we'll see. We'll see. Uh, but for the couple people I know who actually have been Michigan fans their whole life, who I spent the first 18 years of my life shit talking every day without an ounce of worry in the world because they couldn't say anything back. Am I happy for them? No, but detach myself for a quick second. I can at least not be that
Oh,
mad. Just knowing that there are some people who have suffered through 2 decades of just misery and kind of kind of storytale like. But yeah, okay, that's what I had.
I've got a headliner for the NFL.
Yeah.
Uh, this if you're listening to this podcast, I apologize. You won't be able to see the picture I'm about to show Grant. Um, but I'm sure it'll be
Sing it to
explained
me or
very quickly. No, I'm going to demonstrate it on the camera. To the
hmm.
camera. Is there anything you notice in this picture of Baker Mayfield?
It appears as if Baker Mayfield might be cooking something else down in Tampa. Not just cooking up interceptions, but he might be cooking up a little Zinnicini Alfredo. What do you think, Everett?
Oh, I think that there's some Zinnicini Alfredo action going on, and that was from practice, I believe, today. Bucks
It's
by
good to know
50.
he's locked in. Now they
Bucks
will
by
be
50.
taking on the Eagles, which I mean, the
Still,
Eagles have looked awful. And no, I'm saying I kind of like the Bucks here. Like,
yeah. Um, okay, so
ooh, shit. We have to do playoff predictions.
we do, but while we're
Just pull
thinking
up the
about
scores
that,
real quick.
it's gonna be off
Yeah, no,
off
no.
the dome.
Just pull up the scores
Uh,
real quick.
the one thing that I was gonna say earlier about the Chargers, I believe.
Oh, we have
With
the number
Mike
5
Vrabel,
pick. At least we could celebrate that.
with Mike Vrabel to the Chargers, I actually think that there's a pretty decent chance with that.
You think?
I think that there's a pretty like that
Just
if
because
New England,
Herbert, like I don't know
well,
what else could
Herbert
draw. It's not like LA is a
top
reason
pick,
Vrabel wants to come
but
here. Like
it's
no.
because of the fact that he didn't like his relationship with the
GM.
GM on the Titans. You don't have a GM. If they hire him first, he gets to
Yeah,
say
he
who the
could be
GM
the
is going to be.
yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah,
just a little point.
yeah, I'll be honest. When it comes to GM searches, that is not something I have quite dove into yet. Okay, I probably should now. I think the GM's a pretty notable guy in the organization who has a
Now,
lot of saying power. So probably should focus
now
on this a little more.
I'm going to be honest. I'm gonna accept my defeat right now, and then we'll give our playoff predictions. I had a historic collapse this season. I had a historic collapse this last week. I was down 2 games to Grant. We'll say 1 because I still blame the rest for my Lions loss. I went. I had six correct games this week.
Oh God! So you went
6 and 10. Okay. I dropped below 600. So I went from, I believe, almost 70% correct at the start of the season. I think to like week 6, I was like 68% to 58%. I dropped 10% over the last 10 weeks.
So I had 10 wins, so 10 and 6 on the week, 166.
So you ended up
166 and 106.
I was
get this total real quick. 272. There were 272 games played.
160 and
let's
61%,
baby. 61%. That's the threshold. 60%. 60% would have been, I wouldn't have been able to say I conquered the dragon, but I'm officially above the Mendoza line, boys. 61%. I made it. I set my goal out. I'm gonna look up my week 1 record right now because we have time, so I can quickly go find this. Oh my God!
Let me get mine too.
I need to see how I started off this year. I need to see.
I had 10 wins in week 1.
My God, that is so many. I got to keep scrolling a little bit. Sorry. Scroll.
With the culmination in week 4, I had 14 wins. Week 4, I had 14.
Week 1,
games.
I went 7 and 9.
So I had a 3-game lead on you out of the gate.
I swear it was bigger than that, or maybe we just 10. Made it out to be much.
Well,
bigger.
No, it was bigger because in week 4, I got 14 games right.
Oh yeah, I remember, and I thought I was under the impression that you had a perfect week, and then it turns out that Chad was joining the podcast, so that's why you had an announcement. So yeah, but okay, all right, playoff picks.
So I will do the honors of my playoff picks first.
Well, you also got to announce the games.
I do. Great slate, honestly. Outside of
I'm very excited for this playoff. The only stinkers kind of Steelers, Bills, but the way the Bills played down to their competition might be a great game. So
it's gonna be disgusting. But okay. On Saturday, which kind of sucks for me because I'll be in the air, but on Saturday, afternoon game, we have Browns at Texans. And the night game.
I'm excited for that. CJ getting to host a play.
The night game on Peacock, Dolphins at Chiefs.
That is correct. The NFL has peacocked the Swifties. They peacocked them. So NBC, you're welcome. That's going to be the most signups in the history of Peacock. You're welcome.
Sunday, the noon game, Steelers at Bills, the 3:00 game, Packers at Cowboys, and the night game, Rams at Lions, primetime. Stafford in Detroit.
To Detroit. Jared Goff going up against the man that traded him away, call him a bum. It is a lot of storylines and emotions on the line. So,
and wrap up the slate, Monday night, Eagles at Bucks.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like they would scratch Monday Night Football come playoff time, but nope, the winner of Eagles Bucks gets a disadvantage.
Which is funny considering they haven't had Monday night like the last 2 weeks. Does the Manning cast get a playoff game? Is that what's going on? That is
it's on ABC, ESPN.
I think they're required to give each of their like company's one playoff game. I think that's why. But okay, so I'm gonna
I
give you
don't
my
think so.
games.
I think that's a later negotiation. I think that's its own thing.
So I'm not gonna
If
lie,
I was the NFL, I'd make it its own
I'm
negotiation. There's
kind of
no
sad.
deal.
I'm kind of sad that the Texans and Browns are playing round one. I would like to see
Yeah,
them
I love
both make
both
it
of
all the
them.
way.
The great vibes
Um,
right there. But at least we can confirm that the winner of that's winning and upsetting the next round. So at least we know that.
I'm
I think the Texans could mess
could
around and
win.
win two playoff games here. I think
I
they could mess
think
around and do
I
it.
think the Browns are gonna win this game though.
Okay.
I think the Browns are gonna win it.
And you know what? As our CJ Stroud enthusiast, if you're off the CJ bandwagon, then shit. That makes me think.
Browns are
Wait,
gonna
are
win
you
that
giving out
game.
your official picks right now,
I'm
Browns?
giving my picks.
Okay.
Browns. I've been riding the Dolphins, but geez, Tua literally had like explosive diarrhea last week versus the Bills. So give me the Chiefs over the Dolphins.
Ooh.
Give me the Bills. Give me the Cowboys. Give me the Rams, and give me the Bucks.
Okay. Okay. Now, did not expect you to go Rams, but then I guess
I've
the
said
hatred for
multiple
the Lions
times.
has
No, no, no,
respawned.
no, no, no. There's lies. Hey, we've said this before. The Lions are the little brother. They might have won this, but they're still the little brother. So we're cheering for them. I just think that from what I've seen, they're gonna get first rounded. I've said that multiple times, like throughout the last couple of weeks. I think they're gonna get first rounded. So yeah.
Okay, I actually I kind of love all of your picks, to be honest, but I'm going to just be different. Uh, now
We do have to give
I
our Super Bowl matchup too,
I
though.
have a feeling I might have only had like one different pick from you if I like made these ahead of time, but because we'll be different, I'll be different. CJ Stroud, the Texans, Chiefs. I wanted to do it. I just can't bring myself to pick the Dolphins. Bills, but give me Steelers to cover. But Bills, Cowboys, Cowboys covering. Lions and Bucks. Yeah, I have zero faith in the Eagles. Give me the Lions though. Give me the Lions. Okay, Lions Texans. Those are differentials.
Um, my Super Bowl pick though, I'm gonna say I think the Ravens might be able to finally do it, and make the Super Bowl. And if it is, I think it's a hardball bowl rematch. But if the Ravens kind of are a little iffy, which they have been with Lamar, um, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Browns, 49ers, Super Bowl.
With the Niners winning.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. At least you got to make it somewhat okay. So you're gonna take Browns Niners. So I'm gonna go.
Well, Ravens Niners preliminary,
Oh.
but like Browns Niners.
Okay.
Because
I'm going.
I'm assuming that it's gonna be Ravens Niners for both of us. It's my assumption.
Well, this is the thing. I feel like a lot of times in recent years, a lot of the times the 2-1 seeds will end up matching up, and I do think with this new playoff structure with 7 teams making it, with just one team from each division getting a bye, like in theory, it should really favor them, like even more so. But I wonder though, I wonder if maybe this is a year where we don't see a 1-1 matchup. Now, I'm pretty sure last year we got it, Eagles Chiefs. Was Chiefs 1 seed or were they not? I think they were.
Yeah, I think they got it in
The
like the
only
last week of the season.
I think the only recent one that wasn't double ones was Bengals Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rams didn't win their division that year, I'm pretty sure.
No, the Bucks did. No.
Niners.
Did.
Niners,
The
right?
Niners, I believe, won it that year.
Regardless, I'm going to slightly be different. Now I'm gonna say the AFC one first, Ravens. I'm going to I
Don't
think
you
I'm
dare say it.
I think I'm going
Don't you
to
say it.
go with the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, but the Baltimore Ravens will face the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl this year. It's going to happen. They're going to do it. Dallas is going to get there. This is the year. This is it.
Okay. Okay. All right. I knew that was what you're gonna say.
I think maybe I'm crazy, but I think Micah Parsons is the best player in the NFL. Micah Parsons is absurd.
Patrick Mahomes does exist.
That is true, but we're
So
going
does
back
Lamar
to
Jackson.
the quarterback's the most important player position. Yes, not debating that at all. But when I think of dominant at your individual position, what can't Micah Parsons do? Number one in pass rush win rate, and he's also the most double teamed edge player in the NFL. He is.
Can't play zone that well.
I mean, if we're dropping him back into coverage, then there's already a mistake right there.
Hey, you asked.
Well, doesn't make the run stop. Well, I'm just talking pure pass rusher here. Run stop. He is not on this run stop. Thule's on this run stop list. So shout out my boy. Okay, sure. Run defense. All right, you got it. Run defense. Micah Parsons, though, gets double teamed around 30%, 35%, 1/3 of the time, and he wins same rate, around 35% of the time. I feel like we'll see, but in a season where the quarterback plays slightly down, maybe it's the defensive superstars that show up this year. We'll see. We'll see. And if that were the case, you'd probably go with the Niners over the Cowboys with that logic. But I don't know. I just feel the boys. I'll probably be regretting this.
Well, like, so I mean,
Sunday night, but
my pick is Ravens Niners, but my fun pick is Browns Niners. That's my fun pick.
Yeah, my real pick is Ravens boys.
It would be objectively funny though if the Browns made the Super Bowl without Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
Now, well, we're not going to dive into his contract. I was going to say, is there a scenario where they could actually like cut him and it's okay? Like it's not the easiest penalty.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not possible.
No, that cat.
No, he is a Cleveland Brown. He is a Cleveland
every
Brown.
year. Last year when I did the Browns offseason wish list, I remember sitting there and I was like, they have like $5 million in cap room because of his contract.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna have a fun time. I'm gonna have a fun time this year. With those and the math with those, but yeah.
You know what? We can quickly. We'll wrap this up pretty soon here, but real quick, Mike Vrabel out. The coaching. Black Monday carousel. It's kind of on its way right now. We're seeing some more movement, more so a lot of DCs and coordinators getting fired and canned. So we are starting to see the movement. Also with the college football season ending, Jim Harbaugh is a big name where we have to kind of wait to see what he does, to see where the other dominoes fall to a degree. So we're kind of waiting for that first big Harbaugh domino.
Bill Belichick has the highest odds. The Chargers have the highest odds to get Bill Belichick next season. The second highest team is the Patriots. So just interesting.
Of Bill Belichick.
For Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Your home and away opponents have now been locked in for the season for next year. For every team, home and away opponents has been locked in. The NFL. I don't have the Vikings pulled up in front of me, but I do have the Chargers.
Do you know like the divisional, the cross?
This is who you will be playing. This is who you're going to be playing.
Just tell me games. Read me the schedule. Read me this whole fucking schedule.
Your home games will be the Broncos, Chiefs, and Raiders, obviously. Ravens, Bengals, Saints, Bucks, and Titans are your
Actually,
home
I
games.
love the NFC South crossover. Love that.
Those are your home games. Your away games, obviously divisional. The Browns, the Steelers, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Patriots, and the Bucs.
I actually love that. We get AFC North, which I don't love, but it's NFC South. Sign me the fuck up. Weakest division in football. Yes, that's who the AFC best gets to play. Oh yeah. That makes me happy. The Chargers should sweep the NFC South. I know they're not, but I expect it.
It's a bold statement thinking the Chargers are going to be that great next year, but
I always have high hopes for my Bolts.
Oh, no,
if we have Jim Harbaugh and we don't sweep the NFC South.
I do think that your team, no matter who the coach is, whether it's Harbaugh or not, I think that next year needs to be a full rebuild season. I think you need to get rid of guys this season. Like, you're not going to have great players.
Shout out Khalil Mack for raising his trade value. Oh, my God. What a babe. He raised the shit out of his trade value.
And you know that if Harbaugh is on the team.
Like a third for him.
if Harbaugh is on the team, you know Joey Bosa is gone. He's gone. So
Uh, ooh, wait, actually, yeah, Joey Bosa played against Jim Harbaugh one time his last year at Ohio State. Just once.
so um yeah, he'll probably be trading for he'll trade for Nico Collins. He'll get Chase Winovich to come out again, unretire. Jabril Peppers will be coming over.
I mean, straight up, if I was Harbaugh right now, like if there's one player, well, he was holding his ass off last night, but Will Johnson, like that might be one of the most key impact recruits
Yeah,
Harbaugh's
he'll
ever
trade for
landed. Oh
Aiden
my god.
Hutchinson. He'll
Oh
trade for
yeah,
Aiden Hutchinson.
yeah, 100%.
Which, by the way, you will never admit it, but you would love that.
Oh, I'd be so game for Hutch on the Chargers. Do I think he's like a top 10 pass rusher in the NFL? No, but like I think he's very good. I didn't think he'd be this good.
Oh, I did, but yeah, no, it is interesting now with the Titans job opening. I would probably say 1, 2 uh is still Chargers and Washington, but I put the Titans at 3.
Like I'm thinking, I wonder how the Titans head coaching search is going to go. Who are they going after? Like they're going to have to kind of pull a Jonathan Gannon, find someone to coach that bus. I
You
mean,
see that Kellen
they're not a
Moore
hot
is
spot right now.
you see that Kellen Moore is
Do not want him
getting
as
an
head
interview.
coach.
I think
I
it's just
honestly am
it's
very down
ironic
with
that
him leaving. Like I
it's
was so
ironic that
hyped on the hire.
he didn't
But
want to be the interim coach because he didn't want to hurt his head coach chances, but now he's asking to be interviewed by them. Like it's kind of ironic.
I like honestly, I wasn't even like too sold on him necessarily as OC. So like I don't really care if
Well,
we
you
keep
were
moving on.
I sold you on him in the offseason, but
Oh no, yeah, no, I'm not denying that. I was so hyped on Kellen. I was so hyped to win.
I think it will be really interesting to see what happens. I'm honestly like those teams, I'm gonna have the most fun with like this offseason with the offseason wish list, just solely because you could blow them up and like I have so much fun just trying to figure out like what to do. I'm gonna have a fun time with the Chargers one this year. But yeah, I'm trying to think of if there's anything else that we just didn't get to talk about that we did last time. We did mention Bob Myers is now the
That's still just what the hell?
yeah,
Like I didn't know he was into that. I didn't
when we
know.
recorded this yesterday, now we're obviously re-recording it. Grant didn't know that, so Grant live reacted to Bob Meyer becoming
Dude,
the
Bob Myers
like
is like low
president
key
of
my
operations or
idol.
whatever.
Like
But yeah, Arthur Smith is out now. Everybody in fantasy football is rejoiced.
oh, I did hear fun fact of the day. Do you know which team in the NFL finished with the most tight end receiving yards?
It's Jonnu Smith on
It was the Atlanta Falcons as a team.
with
Team
Jonnu
tight end
Smith.
receiving yards.
Jonnu
Yeah.
Smith. Riverboat Ron's out, obviously. Now Vrabel's out, and we had the previous head coaches. Other thing that I did say before was Madison is the 13th player in the Super Bowl era and the second since 2003 to have 180 rushing attempts and 0 rushing touchdowns on the year. Ship his ass to fucking Guantanamo. Get him out of here.
Yeah, not great.
The only other thing, by the way, we talked about college football, but the referees were ACC refs. The inside job was there, it was set up. So didn't feel like Washington was qualified, clearly.
Yeah. Some interesting factors there. Yeah, I guess the Pac-12 after dark. We debunked that one.
That would
Yeah.
be the way. That would be the way for the Pac-12 to die, though. That would be it.
Go out like that. Yeah, no, quite literally. I guess shit. Next year is going to be a very strange year of college football. We are going to have Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC. We're going to have USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington joining the Big Ten. The Pac-12 will no longer be a conference. We're going to have a 12-team playoff. There's going to be a lot of things changing. It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm very curious what they do with the transfer portal periods. Now with a 12-team playoff, I would assume for the most part, if you are a key contributor to any of the 12 playoff teams, you're probably not going to enter the portal. I mean, obviously there are people have done it
They
in the past.
probably are going to alter it to be one, I mean,
They
it'll stay
should
open
push it
longer,
back till
but
after the
I think it's
championship.
gonna
Like
be. I think that's what it's gonna be. Is they're gonna push it because the window.
today
They'll
should be
probably
when
push
it
it back.
opens.
They'll push it back, and they'll probably keep it open until like 2 days
The
before the
one
first
thing
day
I
of spring ball.
understand is like semester enrollments. Like a lot of the guys like are already enrolled at their next college for this semester. A lot of them already started. So like
Yeah,
I get that. But I mean, shit, college football, you could just enroll them in. Like I know USC, there's at least like a 4-week policy after the semester starts, so you could drop add classes. So like I know it's they can
I mean,
technically get through.
to me,
So
I think the portal should be open, like for teams to be able to recruit, but players. It's a tricky situation because I was going to say players should be able to leave until their team's been eliminated, but then you can't do that because a team that you might want to go to might fill up that position. It's a whole problem. So I don't know. They'll figure it out. It's the NCAA, so I honestly doubt they'll do anything to change it. I think it'll probably just stay the way that it is. Um, and then you just have to hope that if you lose, that you can just leave. But also keep in mind though, and I mean, you said this, it's not abnormal. Like it's against the rules, but teams do talk to players during the season, and there's
oh, I
communication
know.
there. So if a team that's in the playoffs is expected, like that player's like kind of knowing that he's going to leave after the season, even if he hasn't announced it, the teams know, and I feel like it's not that big of a deal because those teams will just wait for that guy to get in the portal. But anyways, with that, I think we're wrapping up our mega episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Not honestly so mega, but mega. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Ever6 and at WaterboyGrant. We post new TikToks every Tuesday to Sunday, so make sure to follow us there for even more content. We post new episodes right now. This is not what normally happens, but Tuesday and Thursday on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So make sure to subscribe for us and turn notifications on. We also upload shorts there. And we're getting back into the groove on Instagram, hopefully once this semester starts. And we'll see what goes on from there. But off-season wish list coming soon. Waterboys out.